Hey everybody, it's Tito. Welcome back to Jazz Mind, your source for learning jazz improvisation, learning how to make the trumpet easier, and mindfulness for musicians. Those of you who are familiar with my channel know that some of my content deals with learning the physical, mechanical approach to developing your upper register. I entitled this video, Limiting Beliefs Regarding Range, because there is a psychological component to developing your upper register. And these mental factors can actually hinder your growth quite a bit in developing your high notes, or they could, in fact, keep you from practicing high notes altogether, which we don't want. So let's get right into what some of these limiting beliefs are. The first limiting belief goes something like this: my current musical demands don't require me to have a great upper register. Right? You've probably heard that one before. I know I've heard it a ton, or maybe you even believe this. The second one sounds like this: I don't have the physical makeup to have a great upper register. Now, we'll break these down in a moment, but I want to get through the list. Number 3, I can't help tensing up every time I have to play high in public. And then the fourth one that I'm going to share with you is the most straightforward: I suck at high notes and I know it won't get any better. Now, the reason I decided to focus in on these limiting beliefs is because, based on my 25 plus years of being a professional jazz trumpeter and educator, these are 4 of the most common beliefs that students carry with them. I'm sure there are more, and I'd love to hear if you have other of these beliefs that I could address in a future video. But let's take some time to break each of these down, because what's important is that you examine your own beliefs regarding working on your upper register. And if you struggle with any of these, then it's important that you replace them with statements that are true, that will debunk in your own mind these limiting beliefs. So the first one: my current musical demands don't require me to have a great upper register. I don't really feel I have to say a lot about this one, but it's one of the most annoying beliefs that I hear, to be honest with you. What are you going to do? Wait until you actually are required to play high? Is that when you're going to decide to go ahead and move forward in your upper register development? If you fail to plan, then really what you're doing is planning to fail. Instead of thinking this belief, I want you to replace it with this: I'm more interested in reaching my full potential as a trumpet artist, including the area of range. Or how about this one: I want to be ready for those opportunities that do require upper register control. And as your online coach, I'm interested in your full potential as a trumpet artist, so I expect you to be interested as well. Number 2, I don't have the physical makeup to have a great upper register. And this is where I'm going to refer you to one of my previous chapters in my long video, Upper Register Development, and it's called The Horizontal Approach to Trumpet Playing. And I'm going to link that right up here in the corner for you to check out. Where does this belief come from? This belief comes from the idea that high notes are very physically demanding, super difficult to play. They require a ton of energy. Now, here's the thing. That's not completely false, right? High notes do require quite a bit of energy from your body, okay? The question is, where does that energy occur? And most people think it occurs right here in the face and in the lips. And in the horizontal approach to trumpet, I try to address this falsehood head on. The energy demand actually comes far more from your lower body and utilizes far less air than what we're hearing come out of the trumpet when we hear great high note trumpet players. In the horizontal approach, I talk about the areas of the body that we really should focus in on to help discover our upper register. We don't build range. This is something that Wayne Bergeron talks a lot about, and I really appreciate it. We don't build range. This isn't like building your physique over years and years. This is much more of a coordination issue. And what Wayne Bergeron talks about is discovering your range. And I want to help you discover your range. So let's replace that belief with this. High notes are way easier to access when I create the appropriate mouth environment, engage my lower body breath support, and when I avoid crunching my lips and overblowing. As I've stated before in my video upper register breakthrough, oftentimes the reason that we pinch our lips or crunch our lips is not because our mouth is too small or our tongue is too elevated or our jaw is too high. No, it's the opposite. Our mouth is too big to create the mouth environment for the high notes that we're trying to achieve. Therefore, your lips try to help out by crunching. Mm. No bueno, familia. What is this part of your mouth responsible for in trumpet playing? One thing, the vibration of the lips, which gives us the beautiful tone that we're looking for. And no matter how high we want to ascend, all the way up to high C, high F, high G, double high C, these babies got to be able to vibrate. The other reality is that creating this desirable small mouth with an arched tongue, with a jaw that's elevated, is going to create an environment where it is literally impossible to blow a ton of air through. You've just created this very narrow passageway for a tiny airstream to pass through. But remember, that tiny airstream is not going to give you a tiny sound. Doesn't work that way. Now, I will say this. For some of you out there, you've struggled with high notes for so long simply because you don't really have a feel for how small the mouth actually can get. Maybe you've been afraid of going down that route, thinking that that's going to give you a small sound. But the trumpeters that I've encountered who have struggled with high notes, this is a very general and broad statement, I admit. But those trumpet players that have struggled with range that I've encountered are those who are trying to play in the upper register with a mouth environment that's just way too open, way too big. And that's what's causing a lot of the overblowing issues. That's what's causing a lot of the crunching of the lip issues. Next one. I can't help tensing up every time I have to play high in public. Now, this one, by the way, might not just be a limiting belief. It actually may be true. However, it could also be a belief in the sense that it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like, this is just bound to happen, that I'm going to tense up whenever I have to play high. And so the key here is to train yourself before you hit the public eye, in the practice room, training your body to access your highest notes far more efficiently and at a softer dynamic level. Repetitions are so important for teaching you to coordinate the inner mouth with the lower body and bring these elements together at the exact right time for whatever note you're trying to play. I utilize an exercise that I call the left-handed approach, which actually seeks to train the body to do this very thing. To be able to start in the middle register and then ascend up each harmonic partial of the instrument as high as you can possibly go with just the left hand at a soft dynamic level. And the three elements that I am focusing on are creating the proper mouth environment through my tongue and my jaw, supporting with my lower body breath support, my abdominal area, the area around the sternum, as well as my gluteus maximus. And utilizing a horizontal airstream throughout the entire exercise. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Again, the nature of the left-handed exercise is to focus on those three general areas that I mentioned earlier and relax every other part of my body. It's really the way that I trained myself to understand that, oh, high notes are not this maximum effort, brute strength type of activity. No. The key is to develop this efficient approach so that it's repeatable. You can do it today, you can do it tomorrow, you can do it the next day. And that's what we want. And then the last one. I suck at high notes and I know it won't get any better. And so this is for those of you out there who have just kind of thrown in the towel. Like, you know what? I guess I'm just not built for that. I'm not that type of player. I don't think it's going to get any better. I've been playing the trumpet for 20 years, 30 years. This has always been my Achilles heel. And to those of you, I have this to say. Now, work with me now, because I would like for you, if I'm speaking to you now, I want you to think this instead. I don't suck at high notes. I just don't know how to do them yet. If you have not been getting the results that you want in the upper register, then guess what? You're going to have to try something different. This is exactly what I had to go through when I felt that my range was limited at around a high E or a high F, and I could not break past it, even as a professional trumpet player. If you've been playing the same exercises in the exact same way for those 20 or 30 years, guess what? The results are showing that you might have to make an adjustment somewhere. And that's really where I developed this horizontal approach formula. And trust me, I've taken elements from some of the teaching philosophies of some of the greatest trumpet players, players like Maynard Ferguson, Roger Ingram, Wayne Bergeron, Bobby Shue. And I've just simply combined them with my own observational superpowers and my ability to communicate to my students. I've had a lot of practice sharing these techniques with my own students, and I've seen a lot of great results with it. So if you're ready to try something a little new that maybe you have not heard worded the way I'm presenting it to you, then I highly encourage you to watch the horizontal approach to trumpet playing or watch the entire 45-minute video that it comes from, which is Upper Register Breakthrough. If you like this video, then please like the video. That'll really help me in the YouTube algorithm and get this video out to a whole lot of other people. If you have other limiting beliefs that you want to share, please pop them in the comments. I'd be interested to hear your experience and hear what you have to say. And if this video has proven helpful for you, then please consider subscribing to my channel. All right, family, let's go practice. Let's go work these things out. Remember, practice isn't just the time that you have the horn on your face. Practice is also mental practice and preparing your mind for the fact that you're not a fixed player, that you actually can grow and learn new techniques to make the trumpet easier and to make music a whole lot more fun. Peace, everybody.